Hi everybody, I'm Somalia.
And I'm Jasmine.
And we're the hosts of
Fusion Teen Talk Show.
So today, Jazz, we're going to be talking about family.
Really? I love my family. Like my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncles, my great aunts and my great uncles,
Jazz.
and my cousins, and then your second cousins.
Yeah, Jazz. We're talking about all of those people, and we're also going to talk about the importance of communication between your family. But I mean, what do you do when your parents just don't understand?
You move out. Duh.
Well, until we can do that, let's talk about it here on Fusion.
Telling you all we know. Watch and see how you will grow. 'Cause teens and parents are bridging lines of communication on Fusion.
Fusion Teen Talk Show.
The natural part about growing up is gaining independence and discovering our unique individuality, but sometimes this transition can kind of cause issues within the household.
Joining us on the Fusion Couch is mental health therapist and life coach Quan Green and family counselor Denitra Gaines. Welcome, ladies, to Fusion.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Ms. Green, I want to start with you. How do you think that it's the best way that teens can kind of interact with our parents nowadays?
Well, I think teenagers have to realize that parents were once teens too. Parents are not foreign alien creatures that come to Earth and boss you around, tell you what to do. I mean, grown-ups, adults, we're humans. We go through the same things teenagers go through. If you have a mom and you're a female, some of the things that you experience, your mom has experienced those things also.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just kind of get to know your parents for who they are, aside from them being your dictators and boss.
It's funny that you say that, Ms. Gaines. It's funny because I remember being like young, like 5 years ago, I remember being in my house and my friend was like texting her mom and we were in the same house. And I was like, why are you doing that? And it was before, like, I don't know. I had a cell phone, but it wasn't that big of a thing. But now I do text my mom when I'm in the same house with her. Like, how do you feel about the way that teens communicate with their parents, like through texting and emailing your parents instead of like maybe talking to them directly?
Well, I find that it's a trend that's increasing. A lot of the teens that I know, that's how they communicate now. I say any communication is good communication as long as you're communicating, but there's a value in the human interaction, that human element. So I would just say, texting is fine for simple things, but take time to actually talk to your parents. You know, get that human interaction going there. There's value in that.
Going to talking to, what do you, this question's to both of you, what do you feel is the best way that teens can get trust from their parents and parents can get trust from their teens?
Just do what you're supposed to do. If you make a mistake, talk to your parents about it. And I think it's important too for parents not to come down so hard on their teenagers. I mean, because everyone makes a mistake. And as a parent, your teens have to feel comfortable with coming and talking to you and say, hey, you know what, Mom, Dad, I made a mistake. I kissed a boy. And parents, I find that when parents say, oh my gosh, you kissed a boy, you kissed a boy.
It's the reaction.
Absolutely, it's the reaction. So parents need to make their kids feel comfortable coming and talking to them.
Definitely.
And so I think that develops as time goes on. That's why I think it's so important sometimes for parents and teens to get outside help.
Yeah.
Because they're so intertwined and just involved with so much of what have gone on that sometimes that outside perspective kind of helps them to better communicate with each other.
Ms. Gaines, what do you feel about the trust between teens and parents and teens and how it could be improved?
Well, definitely with the communication, I think that helps. And it starts when you're young. It's not something that just suddenly happens when you're teenagers. So parents need to understand that they need to have a continuous conversation with their children from a very young age. In terms of building that trust, that communication element is very important because you do need to feel comfortable talking to your parents and not waiting for them to explode on you. You know, a lot of times parents operate from a position of fear because they knew what they did.
Yeah.
And they just don't want you to do the same thing. And so helping them kind of normalize you as a teenager,
Right.
you know, it's like, we're going to make mistakes. We're all human. We all do this. And helping them feel comfortable talking to you, you know, it starts with just having simple conversations. So, you know, it could be, I didn't do too well on this test, to I went too far with this guy, and, you know,
Yeah.
but having the feeling of comfort to even speak
Right.
to your parents, that will allow that conversation, that trust to build over time.
Right. And being honest, like you were
Being very
saying.
honest, yeah.
And I would say go for it too. Whatever's on your mind, don't assume that your parents are going to react a certain way, or don't in your mind make up the
But
reaction.
what if they do?
Well, then you talk to them about it.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, Mom, that's why I don't like to talk
Yeah,
to you.
and you're honest.
Because you act like
Exactly.
this. So be honest, whatever you feel. Don't suppress your feelings and your emotions.
Yeah.
And
Just tell them.
And don't surprise them. If you know you
Right.
have like this huge whopper to drop on them,
Right.
text them, hey,
Right.
I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. It's important.
Right.
So they can be prepared, so they're just not like when
And
you
going
come
back to
in.
when you were saying like having different people, because I think I have different people that I go to for different things. Because if I know my mom's gonna go crazy, okay, I'll talk to my aunt because
Yeah.
you know she'll help me feel better. And then you know I'll talk to my mom eventually. But sometimes if I'm like if I'm like stressing out about something, and I know my mom's gonna be like, Jasmine, like, that's how, you know, this industry is. Don't cry about your audition. I'm gonna go talk to my aunt, because my aunt will, like, she's just better at, like, making me feel more pumped. Right. So I think it's also having, like, different people that you kind of pick and choose.
Absolutely. Yes, that is very wise.
Yeah, that's how I do. But my final question is how teens should deal with a parent that maybe wasn't a part of their life, and then they kind of just spring up on them and they want to parent them. Like how they should go through that process of building a relationship with a parent that was kind of absent early in their life.
I think it starts with forgiveness, which can be very hard to do, but it does. And that's where it starts, because you have to allow some space for that parent to come in and to help you, to be a part of your life. So just be open to that. Forgive them. And you might have to say to yourself over and over again, I forgive him, I forgive her, I'm going to work at it, I'm going to try. Take little steps. If he or she, the mom or dad, wants to take you to the park on a weekend, the thoughts in your head might be, oh, they're just going to stand me up again, or this is not going to be fun. Take the little step and say, you know what, whatever. Teens have this thing where they say, what's the saying? You only live once.
Oh, yeah, YOLO.
YOLO, YOLO. You only live once.
It's on our fusion board, YOLO.
Oh, is it really?
Somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Well, YOLO it. YOLO. So today is YOLO. I'm going to go, whatever happens, happen, whatever, you know. So just be open to it. And I think if you take baby steps, you'll see a development in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we want you to stay tuned, because we're gonna dismiss the taboo about family therapy. Stay connected with Fusion on Facebook,
Twitter,
Instagram, and YouTube.
We as teens have a lot to deal with in our daily lives, and it's important to talk to someone, right? But who do we talk to if we don't want to talk to our parents?
Let's welcome back Miss Gaines and Miss Green, you guys. Give them a round of applause, another one. So a lot of teens go through different things in their lives, and it takes many different problems for them to realize that they need therapy. Like some commit suicide, or some go through different things with their parents and before they realize that they need therapy. So at what point at time should they go and seek for more help?
Oftentimes, it's not the teen that says, I need therapy. Oftentimes, it's the parents, people in the school, maybe the school counselor. If a teenager notices that they're always angry, if they are maybe jealous of everyone. They don't feel secure in who they are. They feel that they're ugly or inadequate, then that is an indication that you might need to talk to someone. If you can't speak to your parents, then you can talk to a professional, a therapist, a life coach, a counselor. Or you can start by talking to your mom or dad and say, hey, something's not right. I just don't feel good about myself, and I need some help.
Okay.
Yeah. I would also add just, kind of doing a self-check. What's not working in my life right now? What am I constantly having trouble with? Am I not getting along with my siblings, my parents, my friends? And, that's an indicator that something's off and you may need to seek outside help. So just kind of get in tune with yourself, which is sometimes difficult, but, if you're just noticing that I just can't get right, I'm failing all my classes, my friends hate me now, all my relationships are bad, that's usually a sign that there's something else going on there.
Okay, so if teenagers are having problems talking to their parents, what are some of the things that you guys do to make them feel comfortable talking to a total stranger?
I think each counselor, each life coach therapist is different. For me, I relate to the teenagers. I listen. I think that is a huge part of our profession. Just to be able to sit quiet and listen. They're coming to you because they have something on their chest. And so you give them the time to talk about it and to release and to get that information to you. Also, I come from a very non-judgmental perspective. So I would never judge anyone. I've had people tell me that they've killed people, that they've thought about killing people. And I never respond in a way that's judgmental because I've heard it all. And I felt like hurting people in my past.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I think everyone does, but you don't do it. And so I kind of intervene and make sure that we get those feelings and emotions in check before someone hurts themselves or someone else.
Okay.
I would definitely agree with her. A lot of times with the clients that I see, the teenagers that come in, we don't necessarily immediately focus on what's wrong because that does cause someone to put up their guard and they don't really want to address that right away. So, a lot of times we just create an environment where they feel safe and they feel that they can trust me as their therapist. And so we may engage in activities that have nothing to do with what brought them to therapy. So we might play a game, go for a walk, or do something that allows them to feel comfortable in my presence, and then we go from there.
Okay, so if the problems in the household might be between the parent and the child over money or just the way that they're living or some things that's going on in the household, and they don't have money to see a therapist, what are some things that parents and teens can do to just make it easier to get the communication to flow?
There are a lot of free resources out there on the internet. There are a lot of social groups out there that serve as support teams for parents with teenagers. There's a lot of social support groups out there for teenagers themselves. So the free resources are out there. You just have to find them, Google them. There are even groups on Facebook. So there are a lot of free resources out there. Whatever the problem is, just Google it and find free resources to help you with it.
Yes, definitely. But just keep in mind, even though those resources are there, they're ineffective if you don't make time to use them. So making that time is very, very important. Carve out 15 minutes of your day just to sit there with mom and dad and just, how was your day, mom? How was your day? And, just share that moment with them. So just make time.
So what would you ladies give one thing that you want teens to know to just dismiss about therapy altogether?
Definitely the idea and myth that going to a therapist or a psychologist makes you crazy. Oftentimes, it's the people who do not go to therapists that are the craziest because they don't have anyone to help them. They don't have anyone to tell them what you're going through is this, and this is how we're going to help you. A lot of times people fall under pressure because there's no one in their lives available to them to assist them, to help them, to support them, to comfort them, to nurture them.
Right.
And so that's what therapists do. therapists are the best persons to talk to about your problems because we are governed by a law that says we can't share it with anybody. We can't tell your business.
Yep.
And so you have girlfriends or boyfriends out there, whatever you share with them, they're liable to go back and tell someone
and push
else.
you
But
all
with
out on the
therapists,
social
we
media.
can't do that. We don't know who your cousins are, your family members. You can come tell us anything, and by law, we cannot share that with anyone.
That's great.
And so we are the best ones to talk to. We're going to listen. We're not going to judge you. We're not going to tell your business. And that's a lot more than what I can say about most people in your life.
It's totally true.
I would add that, just keep in mind that wise people seek counsel. Whatever you see in history, the wisest people, they always had someone that was smarter than them, that had more knowledge, or that at least just provided an ear to bounce ideas off of. No one goes it alone. And that is a very important thought to have. Either you have a mentor, you have a therapist, you have someone that can help guide you in life. When you try to do it alone, it becomes overbearing, taxing, and you're going to fail because we're not equipped to be isolated. We are social beings.
That's right.
And so just keep that in mind. And there's no stigma attached to therapy. I know that there seems to be in the Black community, but we have to get past that. We really do, because we need help. If you look at our dropout rates, our teen pregnancy rates, our incarceration rates, there's something going on there that requires us to get help, and we're not seeking that help.
I just love what you ladies are saying, because this is exactly what Fusion is about. It's about providing these mentors for you guys and getting you the education and the help that you need to go through some problems in your life. So we want to thank these ladies for coming on the show. I hope you guys learned something.
Stay tuned, because when we come back, we're gonna have our kickback with our Fusion audience and a special team performance from our teen artist, Miss Tina. Today we're going to be talking about something that we all know something about.
Yes, I'm talking Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat,
Tumblr.
So what are some positive ways that teenagers can use social media?
Branding is a great way to use it as a positive tool. It's a great way to put yourself out there in a positive way. Hey, this is what I do. Hey, this is what I want to do. This is how people notice you.
Realizing that you're not so different than the person next to you. So in my experience, you might be sitting there and thinking the person next to you has it all and they look perfect and amazing, and you wish you were like that person. And they might be sitting there thinking the exact same thing about you.
Well, if like a guy posts a picture and like without a shirt on, girls are just gonna look at it and say, oh, he has nice abs or whatever. But if a girl went to post one with a bikini on, they'd say she's trying to get more attention or she's trying to get more followers. So it's just easier for girls to get labeled before a guy can.
Teens, you gotta know who you are, find your niche in what you do, because what's gonna make you stand out is you just being different in who you are, not flowing with everybody else. So.
All about the nightlife, that's right. All about the nightlife, that's right. All about the nightlife, that's right. Man, I always do it big every single night. All about the nightlife, that's right. All about the nightlife, that's right. All about the night.
Welcome back to our Fusion Kickback. We're going to sit back with our audience and get their feedback on family counseling.
So how often do y'all talk to your parents? Every day.
Yeah, pretty much about every day.
Okay, by talking to them, do you mean like going to them with personal problems, or just talking to them casually?
Personal.
Both?
Both, yeah.
I talk to my parents like every day casually, but problems, I wouldn't go to them first.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I do become.
Well, why do you think that a lot of teens aren't comfortable to talk to their parents about like personal things?
I feel that, parents, at the same time that they were teens before, times were different back then. So it's almost like the problems that we deal with may be the same, but different, tailored to our time. So they might not understand fully what we're going through.
Right.
So.
That's totally true. So do you guys think that like the media influences some of your parents' parenting decisions?
Yes. A lot.
Well, the media, it actually affects their mind and how they react to the real world. Like, the stuff they watch, like drama shows like The Real Housewives, The Real World, stuff like that. Like, if they get accustomed to it, it'll be bad for their mind. And so they'll be more accustomed to sex, violence, drugs, jail,
pregnancy, and then that's what they'll be getting into.
Okay, so like after hearing the counselors on our show, do you guys feel comfortable, like you'd be okay to like go see counselor? You won't feel loony? Like,
It just depends. Like, it depends on like what's wrong. Like, I don't want to go, like, because I hope I wasn't crazy. Like, I think going to a therapist makes you crazy.
wow, well, that's funny because we talked about on the show. So even after, was that like enough information for you to still make you feel like that? Or I mean, was
I
it
think
like,
sometimes
was
you
it
have
a not
to, you
enough?
have to go. I think it takes time. It's a process, in my opinion, and I think it depends on the situation. You know, I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yes, I also feel that right now at the moment I wouldn't go to a counselor, but in the instance of me needing it, I would definitely go get help.
So, anyone like seek counseling?
Yeah,
you're talking, right?
I actually have a counselor, and I mean I'm not a psychopathic killer crazy person. Like like it's just good to be able to have someone else, like another outlet to discuss your problems with or like daily issues with, besides your parents.
That sounds great.
I think that's good too, because they're saying, they don't know who you're talking about. They don't know them personally, so it's sometimes refreshing to not have to worry about someone talking behind their back.
Right, and it's confidential.
Yeah, and it's confidential. So I think it's a process, and I think you have to get there. And you may not feel comfortable right now, but I think it's good to at least know it exists when you're a teen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Can we agree on that? Yeah.
Well, I loved our conversation, but now it's time to throw it to our performer, Miss Tina, with her hit single, Bow It Down.
When we walk up in the party, yeah, we get started. Got the whole squad around us. Music back to Johnny, man, you know we put it down. Know we put it down. So every time you see us, don't back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. When I step up in the party, it's a murder scene. Cause every time I hop out, I'm cast it clean. And if you back down, I'll recruit you. And if you're on my team, I'm gonna salute you. Gon' back down, make your way down to the ground. Girl, gon' pick it up like it's in a lost and found. Don't be scared to do your thing. When it be dropped, just go insane. Burn my swag, run up, racing our lanes. Number 2 pistol. When we walk up in the party, yeah, we get it started. Got the whole squad around us. Music got the Johnny, man, you know we put it down. Know we put it down. So every time you see us, don't back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. If you about your business, gon' do it. And you say you getting it in, but you gotta prove it. And I ain't for that talking, I'm about that action. And if you with my team, you gotta be money stacking. Gon' get it in, make your way down to the flow. And if you ain't about that life, then you might as well just go. Cause we stay putting it down. So when you see us coming through, you better go back down. Walk up in the party, yeah, we get started. Got the whole squad around us. Music about to Johnny, man, you know we put it down. Know we put it down. So every time you see us, go back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. Back down, back down. I want to thank everybody for having me. I am Miss Tina. You can check me out on my Instagram, The Real Miss Tina, and Twitter at Miss Tina 96, and on Facebook and YouTube at Miss Tina. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Give her a hand, you guys. Didn't she do great?
Thank you so much. We love like to thank our guests, Miss Gaines and Miss Green.
And we would also like to thank our wonderful audience. Give a hand for yourselves. Woo! And we're going to see you next time on Fusion Teen Talk Show.